Alright, so I know I normally do just one episode a day, but I have got a family trip that starts on Friday, so I'm gonna record a little bit in advance. Now, in the last episode, we went and got the Moonlight Butterfly taken care of, and went down to get Havel's ring. This episode might be shorter than usual. I'm not entirely sure yet. Don't bother trying to start a fight with these guys. It's not worth it. Uh-oh, I got lost. Where's... over here somewheres? Uh-oh. Long story short, how did he die here? It's not a huge deal. Not a huge deal at all. So what we're looking for is a ruin of sorts. You usually find... just go straight this way. There it is. Maybe? No? Yes. There we go. And you come in here, and you talk to the cracked out wall kitty.
My advice, true. The legend of our traversing the cloud. Well, I'm Alvin. I command.
You say yes.
Oh.
Say yes again. And join the Covenant.
And he
forgot to silence my phone. Anyway, so now everybody out here is totally cool with you. Oh yeah, that's where you get the spider shield. If you kill this person, you can pick up that shield. It is decent, although doing it after you've talked to the wall kitty there will break the Covenant and put a sin marker on you, basically. So this area is full of these things, and while they look goofy, they got some life in them. My advice, don't really bother messing with them. They're not worth it. Where we're actually going is right over here. And this is one of those boss fights that is seemingly counterintuitive. Anytime you think you need to back away, get in closer. About the only way you can have a chance to heal or anything like that is if you are directly under this boss. It is also the saddest boss fight in the game. And we haven't done the Artorias of the Abyss DLC. If we had done that all before coming here, we would get a different cutscene. This is just the basic vanilla cutscene. At some point I'll have to do a run. Where I do the DLC first, just to get footage of that. And yes, Sif hurts. And real quick, you will notice that we are not doing a whole lot of damage. That's fine. The reason that's fine is because Sif is fairly susceptible to bleed. Like, see there? Decent chunk. Yeah, that one you do want to roll in super close. Again. But yeah, if you are directly under the boss, a vast majority of attacks will completely miss. Absolutely hate that move. It's about the only one that I really, really hate in this fight. The rest of them I don't have too big of an issue with. Wow. Sif might kill us. Or maybe not. I actually have a great Grey Wolf Sif statue sitting on the shelf right next to me. Probably one of my favorite statues that I've got. Tried to roll through that one, couldn't quite get the timing right. Wow. Sif got us. Yeah. Oh well. It happens. At least it's not a horrible run back, you know? And we are going to swap back to our 100% physical block shield with slightly higher stability. Just because, while that 5% is not a lot of damage that gets through, it is still damage that we are taking. And while the stamina recovery boost is nice, it's not what's going to win the fight. See what I mean about most of those attacks just absolutely missing if you're in close enough? Really? That's a first? Well, second for the episode, but I have never lost to Sif more than once per character, so That's a new feeling. Oh well. If it was easy, I wouldn't be doing it. Although, to be fair, Sif is on the easier end of the bosses. Like, very strong, but you've seen every move that she can do. And because I've had this conversation with multiple people, I will explain why I say she for Sif. Mostly because Norse mythology, Sif is where the name is pulled from. And Sif was Thor's wife. So to me, that name just automatically puts they are female in my mind. Ouch. You know what? Doggy? Gotta love when the boss doesn't play by the rules. That's okay. Pretty soon here, Sif is going to start trying to get sympathy. Yep. Now that Sif is on the last chunk of health, basically walks like a wounded animal. Absolutely breaks my heart if, Sif hadn't just, completely embarrassed me twice in a row. There was nothing there, but so be it. Okay. The next thing we are going to mop up before we go to Sen's Fortress is going back to the Undead Asylum. And that area is not so bad. to return to. It has a few hollows that have, you know, the torches. There are 2 Black Knights. And 1 boss. And there will be something there that we pick up. That way we can access the painted world when we go to Anor Londo. Otherwise, we have to wait until we have completed Ornstein and Smough and gotten the Lord Vessel, and then we can go back. And then we have to go back to Anor Londo and then re-access the painting from there. There's a lot of just the best way I can explain it is there's just a lot of unnecessary backtracking if you don't just mop up the areas first. Oh yeah, I did do the run all the way back down to Blighttown to get that second bell, so Sen's Fortress is open now. This is slightly easier to do if you're using the other elevator, but it's fine. We'll actually have to do this part a couple of times. Okay, so in like the second episode, I attempted to do this and missed, and that's how I landed down there. What we need to do is first grab this. Oh, well. Alrighty. This is Framped. He's, It's kind of hard to nail down what he is. Your primary mode of transportation when you have the Lord Souls and the Lord Vessel seems to sum it up fairly nicely. You can also feed him stuff in your inventory that you don't want, and he'll give you some souls for it. Usually not a ton, but that is basically this game's sell mechanic, is you just feed him. Alrighty. And this is how we get back to the Undead Asylum. This episode may be short, because I'm thinking of calling it when we get done with the Undead Asylum. Just for the simple reason that Sen's Fortress, while it's not necessarily a long area, it is certainly an annoying enough area that it can take its own full episode. if luck is not with us, and, well, let's face it, luck has not been with me these past couple episodes, obviously. Alright. First thing we're gonna do, clearing those guys out, is this, so that if we die, we don't have to come all the way back from Firelink. And there are three, well, counting the boss, 4 key enemies in the area. 2 Black Knights that they force you to fight in tight corridors. If you can get a backstab on these guys, they're really not that bad, but they just take forever. There we go. It's fairly simple. And then we're going to see a familiar face from episode 1 up here. The guy that gave us the Estus flasks. The only problem is he's gone hollow, so now he is our enemy. Fairly simple, pretty straightforward. And the crest shield is a pretty good shield. It is your magic resist shield, basically. Actually, that's only mildly less than our current shield overall for fire and stability, so we are going to throw that on, just because it weighs a little less. This trap does reset. In case anyone was curious and thought, we've been here before, we can just run up these stairs. Yeah, no, it don't work like that. Alrighty, and now we got 2 Hollow Knights in this area. But if you've been following along, pretty easy to dispatch. And then we come here. And there's the rusted iron ring that increases movement speed in water. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is make an attempt on the boss. I'm gonna go here to rest. I'm not gonna bother kindling that bonfire because, the boss isn't difficult and he is very, very susceptible to bleed. Like, every 4 or 5 hits, you're getting bleed damage. Anyway. And the boss does get a very unfair advantage. Yeah. It's just a reskin of Asylum Demon. but there is no way to stop that fall damage from happening. So you just have to accept it. And he has a number of get off me attacks. Basically, he is the opposite of Sif. You want to put some distance between you and him. Like especially when he does that. Or there is another axe swing, this one, that he does, that throws the explosion out in front of him a little ways. Ow. Yeah, because you can't get close enough to him in that instance. Not very nice. This attack is honestly your best friend, just because it takes a couple of seconds for recovery. And boom. Stray Demon is done for. He also gives you a Titanite slab, which we are quite a ways from being able to use, but it is nice to have one in our back pocket. And we go up this way. Through here. And there's Black Knight number 2, and the item we need to access the Painted World DLC is behind him. Yeah, you really don't want to trade blows with this guy. And, I mean, you could just run past him to get the item and then run away, but it's always a little more satisfying when you take down a tough enemy. His guard is very good. Come on, 1 or 2 more strikes and you're done for. There we go. And now we're gonna go pick up this item. And honestly, we'll probably go back to Firelink, and that, I know it's about 20 minutes shorter than usual, but that, I'm thinking that's probably going to be it for this episode. We can start off fresh at Sen's Fortress in the next one. So we'll go back to Andre, rest at that bonfire there, and call it. Do-do-do. Actually, the best way to do this, unfortunately, is this way. Hence why I said unfortunately. You know, overall, we're not doing too bad for amount of time played. Be my best friend if you dropped your shield for me. Yeah, that's what I thought. The hollow shield is pretty good. Was my go-to shield for one of my other playthroughs. But we will spend our points. So we've got our vitality to 25. Now we've got our dex to 25. So what we're going to work on next is to throw a few more points into endurance. And let's see what we have in our possession. Wow, just that. Huh. That's okay. The enemies in Sen's Fortress, if I'm not mistaken, give us 500 souls each, so... Anyway, this is where we're going to wrap up. We will continue on with Sen's Fortress in the next episode. Thanks for watching.